According to the most ancient of available records, modern humankind was created by the Elohim, Nephilim, who were somehow mated with earthly women of the Eljo race. These Eljo women appear to have been descended from a strain whose people were far more advanced than their Neanderthal contemporaries. The apparent outcome was a hybrid Nephilim stock, very likely the people who have become known as Cro-magnon. In the Book of Enoch and Book of Jubilees, copies of which were kept by groups including the religious community of Qumran that produced the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Elioud, also transliterated Eljo, are the antediluvian children of the Nephilim, and are considered a part angel hybrid race of their own. Like the Nephilim, the Elioud are exceptional in both ability and wickedness. A primary function of the assembly was the appointment of kings, but it was also a court of justice, and in all instances it operated by way of a democratic voting system. When a decision was made concerning policy, appointment or judgment, the members would signify their assent by saying the word hem, meaning so be it. This was later manifest in Hebrew ritual by the supposedly equivalent word Amen, but this Egyptian word actually related to the state god Amen and to something hidden or concealed. The primordial father was Apsi, and his consort was Tiamat, the dragon queen, who was also called Mother Hubba, along with their son Mummo. Mummo has brothers and sisters. They were born as two male and female pairs, first Lamu and his sister Lahamo, and then Ontar and his sister Kisha. The stories of this deiform family date back thousands of years and are largely concerned with the very dawn of earthly time when the world was brought forth out of a watery chaos. In due course, Ontar and Kisha produced a son who was to reign over all. This son was Anu. Anu's consorts were his sisters, Antu, Lady of the Sky, also called Namu, and Ki, the Earth Mother, also called Urash. As well as having their original Sumerian names, the Anunnaki also became known by their alternative Semitic names as used in Akkad and later Babylonia. Anu had two sons, Enlil, or Yu, Lord of the Air, whose mother was Ki, and Enki, or Ea, Lord of the Earth and Waters, whose mother was Antu. Enki, meaning archetype, had two wives, one of whom was the goddess Damkina, the mother of Marduk, who became the god of the Babylonians. Enki's other wife was his half-sister Nin-khursag, meaning Mountain Queen, the Lady of Life, who was also known as 9-inch Nails Ma, the Great Lady. We shall meet again, quite soon, with Enki and Nin-khursag, for it is they who hold the key to the story of Adam, the original story that was adapted for the Genesis account. Enki's brother Enlil was also married to Nin-khursag, and their son was Ninurta, the Mighty Hunter. By his other wife, Ninlil, or Sud, Enlil's second son was Nanna, or Suan, known as the Bright One. Nanna and his wife Nergal were the parents of the well-known goddess Inanna, also called Ishtar, who married the shepherd king Dumuzi, given in the Semitic Old Testament book of Ezekiel, 8:15, as Tammuz. It was from the well-recorded wedding ceremony of Inanna and Dumuzi that the Hieros Gamos, the sacred marriage, of the kings of Judah later evolved. A further son of Enlil and Ninlil was Nergal, also known as Meslamtia, king of the Netherworld. His wife, the queen of the Netherworld, was EreshKigal, the daughter of Nanna and Ningal, and their daughter was the legendary Lilith, handmaiden to her maternal aunt, Inanna. In all, there were said to be 600 Anunnaki of the Netherworld and 300 of the heavens. Jehovah of Jews, Elyon of the Cananaites, Enlil of the Anunnaki are similar concepts. The definition Eljo, lofty one, derived from the Akkadian term Ilu, which, as given above, was another name for Anu's son Enlil. It was the long-standing Eljo tradition of Enlil the Elyon that Abraham and some of his family forebears transported into Canaan, having made their respective journeys from the cities of Mesopotamia. Then, some 5 generations after Abraham, Jehovah, I am that I am, emerged as the God of Moses and the children of Israel when they returned to Canaan from Egypt. The book of Exodus further explains how God told Moses that he was the very same God who spoke with Abraham, except that Abraham had called him El Shaddai, El of the mountain, because he did not know the divine name Jehovah, Exodus 6:3. The Jehovah of the Jews, El Elyon of the Cananaites, was, therefore, synonymous with Enlil of the Anunnaki, son of the great Anu. In the Mesopotamian tradition, Enlil was referred to as EreshKigal, meaning Great Mountain Lord, which is why Abraham addressed him by the equivalent of that name. It is likely that the definition EreshKigal, Great Mountain, was linguistically related to the great burial mounds of the Kurgans who emerged from the Russian steppe lands and swept through Europe in waves from about 4400 BC. The Kurgan people, whose name means barrow or tumulus, have been largely credited with the widespread introduction of domesticated horse and disc-wheeled transport. In the early tradition, Jehovah, just like Enlil the El Elyon, had a wife and family, but the essential difference between the Enlil and Jehovah portrayals was that Enlil was seen to have identifiable parents and grandparents, as detailed in the Enuma Elish and other ancient documents. Another key difference between the Bible's portrayal of Jehovah and the Sumerian portrayal of his peers and prototypes was that the Anunnaki were not immortal. There are no records so far discovered which relate to their natural deaths, but numerous accounts refer to their individual deaths by means of war and violence. The deaths of Apsi, Tiamat, Momo and Dumuzi are all detailed, but, in striking contrast, the Bible's Jehovah is said to be from everlasting to everlasting.